Hey guys, this is Chris from the Legacy. We have a hog strategy video here. We're going to look at two attacks against this nearly max Town Hall 8 base. The first attack is going to go fairly well. Up until the very end, it's going to just fall short. And we're going to talk about what went wrong. And in the second attack, it's going to be nearly the same exact thing, but with a few tweaks that change the result dramatically. So getting into it, let's first look at the base setup and what we might want to do. In terms of potential double bomb spots, there's only two threats in this base. So anytime you can predict reasonably well where the double bombs are, you're one step ahead. You never want to have a base where you only have one or two spots where you have a potential double bomb threat like this. So with that set up, those double bombs are there. With the way these walls are laid out and the fact that people love Tesla near the town hall, I would, pretty much 100% certain that two Tesla are there. Now for the third Tesla, again, this is a symmetrical base. People are so OCD about having balance on right and left. They want their base to look pretty. I would be pretty confident that this third Tesla is going to be somewhere in the middle to achieve a balance, and the only spot for that would be up top. Now, it is going to happen where maybe this Tesla will be in one of these double bomb spots, but a lot of times you see a base like this guy wants his base to look pretty, because pretty, in some opinion, is better than a functional base for these guys. So Tesla up top. The reason why predicting that the Tesla is up top is good is because if you were to come in and there were a giant bomb up there, you would need to drop a heal on top of that giant bomb spot. But knowing that there's a Tesla up there, you can really delay your first two heals and do really well. Now, in terms of ways to work through this base, one way that works really well is, like I said, just coming in up top on 3 points. The reason this is nice is because you're going to path to this Tesla after you work through those three towers and down to the air defense. Now, we talked about these potential double bomb spots. After you work through this air defense, you're going to split up on either side, like so. And this is really good because if this is a double bomb on either side, you will sequentially set off each giant bomb with your hogs. That back giant bomb won't get detonated until the archer tower and mortar are knocked out. So as long as you have a heal in place on either side, and like 2 seconds between each bomb going off, your hogs are not going to die to the double bomb, and the threat's just neutralized. So we're doing pretty well. Now suppose that you don't have a double bomb on either side, there's just maybe one bomb. The last spot for the giant bomb, I would say, would be in like one of these 4 spaces. So a good spot for your final heal would be somewhere down here. Now the pathing at the end is going to get kind of messy because the towers are a little bit split up and you're not going to heal too well. Plus you have this barbarian king on the right. But as long as you knock him out with your own king, it's really not an issue. You should be ending up in this heal and then finishing off with that cannon. So it's really nice pathing through the base. You neutralize the double bomb spots, and you've split it up pretty well. Now, in terms of handling clan castle troops, you really want to lure the enemy dragon, it's pretty much always a dragon, to the spot where you're going to hog from. So, up here. The reason being is if you use wizards and whatever to kill the enemy dragon, they're going to get knocked out if you don't hog those first few towers that will attack them after the dragon's down. What ends up happening here, and I thought this was a bit of a mistake, is kill lured to the right. So his troops are a bit exposed to enemy towers. Now they ended up not dying because he took witches with him, but I think it would have been more efficient to pull to the top, just use a few wizards, and then move through. And then on that note, I just don't think witches are very efficient at the Town Hall 8 level. Now at Town Hall 9, they're really great because you have an archer queen, you have a stronger barbarian king, and those witches really provide support so your heroes can do a lot more damage. At this level, your barbarian king's only, his is level 8. Even if it's 10, it's just not that good. You don't have an archer queen, and then there's really no reason for witches to do much else. If you're going to use witches at the Town Hall 8 level, you need to be aggressively attacking the enemy base with them and taking out towers. I think if you're just using them to kill clan castle troops, that's a waste because wizards can do the same thing. And, for cleanup, 3 level 5 wizards do more damage than 2 max witches. So it's just not efficient use of space, but something to think about. Furthermore, he takes a standard poison here, but as it turns out, he's going to use the poison on the clan castle troops, and I also think that's a waste at this point. Unless your poison can completely kill the enemy clan castle, you should be saving it for skeleton traps, because skeleton traps can completely ruin an attack if left unchecked. Not so much at the Town Hall 8 level, but as you get to Town Hall 9, skeleton traps will ruin your day if you're not careful. So a couple of things to think about. I think other than those few details, he also put his king in a bit late. With the enemy king hanging out on the side here, at some point in your attack, you should be putting in your own king to knock him out. Your king is a tank. That's what its job is. It's not really a damaged troop. So using it to tank for your hogs, keep your hogs alive, and then also trading it for the enemy king is a pretty good deal too at this point, is very important. Again, at Town Hall 8, it's not vital, but when you get to Town Hall 9, heroes are everything. So it's really important now to practice proper hero usage as opposed to just, being a bit lazier and using it to clean up. These are really just minor points that are important more at a more advanced level. It turns out Killa kind of got blindsided by something you wouldn't have predicted. So let's get into the attack and see what happened here. So here's your lure, pretty standard one hog. He's going to pull the right. I think top's a little bit better. Now we have the poison's a waste here because you're killing a wizard and an archer with poison. And you're taking witches. Witches are, they're really good for killing clan cantrips, so it's just really overkill in my opinion. Hog from the top. Now if we pause really quick, with his entry point, it was almost perfect, but he had most of his hogs on just these two cannons and not enough on this wizard tower. So instead of just coming through all in one group, he's going to have some move down, and he's going to have his other ones move back up and then move down. So the pace is a bit off here. This isn't going to ruin the attack, but it's something that, it's not 100% efficiency, so it's something to think about the way you approach it. So anyway, he's moving down. The hogs are already bunched back up, so that wasn't the end of the world. He's got 2 heals down, perfect spot. There's only 1 giant bomb in each spot, so there's 1 more to worry about. You got to keep that in mind. At this point, the enemy king's still alive. It should really be dead by now because it's hitting hogs. Working down, we're fine. There's still no giant bomb, so where is it? And there it is, at the very end. With that last giant bomb in this goofy spot down here, you just can't predict that in making an attack. You have to assume your defender is making irrational decisions for his traps, and a giant bomb there is just nonsense because it's so easy to deal with. So you can't blame yourself if you miss this attack due to something like that. Because otherwise, if that giant bomb was, up here or here, Killa had the 3-star, no problem, even with some of the issues I talked about. So it's a little bit frustrating as an attacker, but we're going to talk about how do we best address this giant bomb and improve the attack after we finish watching through this one. So just finishing up real quick, we're going to see it times out, unfortunately, even though he did get most of it other than that bottom cannon. Although the enemy king is still alive, it really should be dead at some point. You can see he dropped his king to the top left. And, it helped on cleanup, but I think it should be keeping his hogs alive first and foremost. So let's get into the second attack and see how we can improve upon this one. Alright, so now let's look at the same attack done by Fear, with a few minor changes that are going to change the result based on what we know. So again, there's a giant bomb down south that we couldn't have predicted, and they ended up ruining the attack. It's too bad, but what are you going to do? That stuff happens. Knowing that it's there, though, what's the best way to handle the situation? I think a naive approach would be to drop a heal down lower than we originally had it. But I don't think that's the best way to do it because the heal's not covering a whole lot of towers, and it's also going to hit your main pack a lot later. If you remember, his hogs were pretty red by the time they got down there, so it's pretty crucial that you have that heal a bit higher up. And then, furthermore, there's a couple other ways we could handle the situation, so it's not necessary anyways. One of those ways would be to drop a few hogs down here as your main pack gets to the bottom. They should knock out that cannon and then either trip the bomb or not. But either way, once that cannon's going at the bottom, your hogs have no reason to path down after they take out the main base. Another way to do it, though, is, in the way he did it, which I like, is using balloons. I think a lot of Town Hall 8 players might not think of this because Town Hall 8 balloons aren't that great, but they actually work out really well and get the job done. Furthermore, he also times these well, too. I think a mistake that could be made here is to drop the 2 balloons at the beginning and then send your hogs through, but if you time your balloons with the main attack, you'll see that the 2 wizard towers are actually distracted by the balloons, and they're splashing the balloons instead of splashing the hogs, and that's just a huge detail. I don't think it was make or break on this attack. He would have won either way, but again, as you move on to harder bases at higher levels, those details are, the difference between 1 and 3-star attacks, so really great timing on his part. The other thing that we can take note of is he takes 4 more wizards, 5 more archers. He dumps the clan castle witches in favor of an extra hog. I just don't think the witches are that efficient at this level, but let's go ahead and get into the attack. Again, it's going to be the same exact lure. He's going to pull top instead of right. He's actually not going to lose a single wizard on dealing with this dragon, which is very efficient. And then he's going to make the same exact attack. And you know, when you're looking at replays of someone who just misses a 3-star and you need to finish the base off, there's absolutely no reason to reinvent the wheel. You just take his same exact attack and then make a few necessary tweaks. It's game over. You know, that's something I do see people do, is they try to do something completely different after the first attack barely misses. You know, just take their attack, make a few changes, and you got an easy 3-star. So we see here his timing with that top wizard tower is a little bit better. His hogs are going to stay more of a tight pack. He actually drops his CC hogs on the right. You know, whether or not that's necessary is up to you. It doesn't hurt though. I think at this point he should have dropped his barbarian king on the right to help take out the enemy king. If you see, he has 4 wizards on the top right. Those are actually going to get killed later on by that king. And then right now he has his loons coming in down south. And you'll see both enemy wizard towers are wasting time hitting those balloons instead of hitting hogs. Again, it's not make or break on this attack, but you know, details like that really pay off as you get into harder bases. And at this point, he's just going to mop up his base. His king's on the left. I don't think it's doing a whole lot of help over there. These 4 wizards on the right are about to go down by the enemy king, and things like that can hurt. I don't think Fear really cared though, because he knew he had the 3-star either way. But you know, he still got the base. So that's that. You know, we had one attack that was pretty well thought out, but you know, something that you can't predict ruins it. And here's the adjustments that you make to fix the result. It's a good attack by both players. Alright, so we got a 3-star Town Hall 8 Hog attack against a heavy Town Hall 8 base. This is Chris from the Legacy. Thanks for watching.